Hi, my name is Shayna Jackson, and I'm doing my book report on Drive by Daniel H. Pink. Uh, it's actually called Drive: The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us. This book is all about, you know, motivation and everything. And on my PowerPoint, I have I did an overview, uh, slide two. Basically, the book is just comparing or talking about how um, the carrot and stick method of motivating people is basically ineffective. And what he means by carrot and stick is like basically, oh, if you do this, then you get this reward, or if you don't do that, you get this punishment. And I don't know if like you're familiar or not, but like I guess back in the day, uh, when people would have ride donkeys or whatever, they would have, like a stick or a carrot tied on the end of it. And you just hold that in front of the donkey to get it to walk. And it would just keep trying to get the carrot. And therefore, it would be moving forward. And it would never get the carrot, I guess. And so it just never really realized that. So, anyway, uh, Daniel Pink or whatever talks about how that doesn't really work to motivate people in this day and age. Um, and then on slide three, I talk about the reasons why that doesn't work anymore. And the reason is that the external types of like motivating factors can actually reduce your motivation. And that's because like sometimes when you're doing something, it seems kind of mundane, and it makes you think like, what's the point? Like, with the whole back to the donkey and the carrot, like, what if the donkey just one day decides like or thinks, man, I'm never gonna get this carrot, so what's the point of me walking? And then they'll just stop. Like the donkey just stops walking because it's like this carrot's been dangling in my face for I don't know how long, and I'm never gonna get it. So what's the point? And that's how it can an external factor could reduce motivation. Also, uh, another reason is that the external factors or the old carrot and stick method can leave a person feeling hungry or not necessarily fulfilled. Um, you can feel like, okay, now that I finally reached this goal or I've done this, now what? I think of it as a now what type feeling. So those are just some factors of why, or some reasons why the old method doesn't work. On my next slide, slide four, I just listed Daniel Pink's seven deadly flaws. Is what he calls them in the book. Um, for the carrot and stick method, whatever those old methods, and they are one, it can crush. Actually, I just want to discuss the ones that stood out to me instead of talking about all seven because they're on the slide. But the one about crushing creativity, um, because if I feel like if a person like in the business world, if a person feel like their employer was using the carrot and stick method, they could feel like there's no room to really be creative, so that um, is how that can work, whatever. And oh, and the carrot and stick method can also encourage unethical behavior, and that really makes sense to me because it's like you feel like a person could feel like, well, if it's just totally black and white or whatever, what's the point um, in trying to do things right? I don't really know how to explain. Like how that I feel like that way, or some people could feel that way with like say doing homework or something. Um, if you felt like it wasn't, if you were doing busy work, that's a better example. Like if you have homework in a class and it actually helps you learn um, the subject, then it's like, okay, you're benefiting from that. But if a teacher just signed you a bunch of busy work and like, you feel like, okay, I just have to do this assignment to get a good grade, but you're not thinking, oh, I have to do this assignment the right way. You're just trying to get it done, not necessarily trying to get anything out of it. And so I feel that type of thing is what encourages people to like cheat and stuff, and that's why you end up getting people like googling all the answers or asking a friend, copy and paste, because you feel like it's busy work and you're not really getting anything out of it anyway. So what's the point in putting forth a lot of effort? Um, and then another one of the seven deadly flaws that stood out to me was the fact that it can encourage short term thinking, and I think that that's important because um, when a person feels like, oh, they can't be creative or they're not benefiting from something, um, they're already doing the unethical behaviors, whatever, you start thinking short term, or like say there was an employer told a employee to do something, and they're thinking, only in the here and now, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do some of these unethical behaviors. I don't feel very creative. I'm gonna just like halfway do it, not really thinking about how that can affect them in the long run. They're just thinking of how they feel in that exact moment, and that could all be a part of that old way of thinking and the carrot and stick type thing. Um, and on my next slide, was my perspective, my own personal type story. Uh, I feel that how I was, well, in high school, I played basketball, and everything was always about getting a college scholarship, a basketball scholarship, and I felt like that scholarship was my carrot, and I was the donkey, and it was like I was just always chasing after it, chasing after it, chasing after it. And then it was like it's either all or nothing. Either get that scholarship or I'm like a nobody or something. I don't know, or not go to college maybe. Anyway, and then a part of me, I started thinking, okay, once I say I do get this scholarship and play basketball, what if I don't really want to play basketball anymore? Like, then what? And I actually decided not to play basketball in college. Didn't really make my dad too happy. But anyway, and that's because I realized that I was like, I'm working really hard. I do like to play, but I realized it wasn't necessarily that I love the game of basketball. I just love being a part of a team. And so I knew that if I would have decided to go somewhere and just play because of basketball or whatever, then I wouldn't have been happy. Um, and that would have, I guess, that'd have been part of that, like being hungry type thing. Um, and also, I feel it's the same way just being in college in general. Like people tell you, it's either go to college so you can make money, or don't go to college and not make money. And so then, like me personally, I get to college and I feel like I'm here just because of the whole I want to make money. And sometimes I feel like I don't really have a purpose, or I'm not getting anything out of it that I really wanted to get out of it. I don't know. It's just that kind of thing. Like, I feel like college will mean so much more to me once I find like a true reason to be here besides just society saying either go to college and be something or not go to college and not be anything. And slide six, my conclusion. And in conclusion, I think basically Daniel Pink was just trying to um, get the idea out that businesses as well as individuals need to realize that the best motivation comes from within and not necessarily external factors. Because as human beings, we all have um, the need to feel like accepted or to feel like we're really doing something. And he really emphasized that with this whole map idea, the mastery, autonomy, and purpose. Like, that's all we really want as, human beings, whatever, just feel like we have a purpose. And I also mentioned in one of my slides about Maslow's pyramid because that's what it reminded me of. I remember learning about Maslow's pyramid and how one level of it was how human beings have the need to feel like a purpose, like we did something, like we are self-driven and we're in control to a certain degree. So this is my report. Thou Drive by Daniel H. Pink. It's actually an interesting book, and thanks. Bye.